In the Song of Ice and Fire, there are about 10 religions that dominate the world. First up, we have the Old Gods of the North and the Wildlings Beyond the Wall. This is one with the weirwood trees, and it also kind of ties in with the Children of the Forest. The Old Gods, there's not like a strict text or something. As far as I can tell, they're kind of just there doing stuff, and then the people that pray to them. This is like the religion for the Starks and the Karstarks, and pretty much only the North is the only one of the kingdoms in the Seven Kingdoms that worships them. You know, because the North are very different than everyone else. One thing to note is that Old Town is they hold to the faith of the Seven and not the Old Gods. And then next up we have the Faith of the Seven. So I don't really know when this was brought into Westeros, but I no, it was because it was brought in before the Targaryens. I know that to be certain. But this is probably my favorite one of the religions. So it's the mother, the father, the smith, the warrior, the crone, and the maiden. So each one of these are seven different individuals, but there's like a discourse in the world on whether or not it's seven different gods or one god with seven different sides. So but they each encompass different things. So like if a guy were to pray to the father, he'd pray for like wisdom and guidance to lead his kingdom or his family. The smith is like, oh, help me work on my house or like work hard. The warriors like give me strength in battle. Um, Let me move. Then the the stranger is like the god of death. He's like, you know who you pray to. Yeah, I guess if you want a quick death. Then there's the crone. That's like for travelers and whatnot. So I guess if you're going between point A to point B, um, you pray to them. And then the maiden, that's for maidens. Pretty self-explanatory. I guess it's for like the pure. Then there's the mother. I'd say this one's probably like the big one in my opinion. Not the father. No one cares about that guy. The mother is the big one because pretty much anyone that prays, they pray to the mother. They pray for like protection, comfort, love. Like think about Davos when he was on that rock after the Battle of the Blackwater. He thought he heard a voice from the mother, not the warrior, the mother. That's the important one. The next one is a big god in Essos, but it's got a couple people in uh, Westeros because of Melisandre and a couple other red priests, and that is, if I'm saying it right, R'hllor, R apostrophe Hllor. So this is the red god or the god of light. Um, this one, I don't know if they believe the deity is like masculine or feminine. I don't know. But this is kind of like the one that protects them from the night. When we see Melisandre, she's always like looking into the fires. In my opinion, this is like one of the three gods in the story that are actually like real, because people can see prophecies, and the red priests have brought people back to life. So that's why I think that there's probably something going on, because we know that the red priest with the Brotherhood Without Banners has brought back whatever that guy was called like multiple times. We know that Melisandre has seen things in the flames, and she has birthed shadows. But the main thing about R'hllor is that they believe that they're protecting everyone from the darkness. They believe the darkness is, I believe their line is, for the night is dark and full of terrors. That's their thing. They also kind of burn people alive a lot, but that's neither here nor there. In uh, in Essos, they have a temple, and they actually have slave warriors. Like I don't know what they're called, but they have that. So that's interesting. The next one up is the Great Stallion. This is the primary religion for the Dothraki and the Cal and all the raiding parties. I don't know much about that. All I know is that they believe that when they die, they'll go to like the grass plains and they get to ride with the Great Stallion. They kind of have like a weird prophecy thing to where they think that they believe that Daenerys' kid was the one who no the stallion that mounts the world. So that's cool, but then it's not really that huge because we don't really see much about the Dothraki because they kind of just kill a bunch of people and whatnot. So definitely not like a merciful god, but this one is prominent in Westeros. It is the drowned god of the Ironborn. So it is pretty much only in the Iron Islands where the drowned god is worshipped. But they believe that there's the god of the waters. He controls everything. He's like, and they're there, like they're his people. So the Ironborns believe in the drowned god strongly. Their whole thing is like, what is dead may never die but rises again stronger. So the drowned priest, or what are they called? they actually have a ceremony to where they'll drown someone and kill them and then revive them. That's interesting. But their drowned god thing is whole like harsh, stern. They believe that, oh, you need to be a good warrior, so then when you die, you can join the drowned god and feast in his watery halls. So it's very, I would say this is very similar to like maybe a Norse religion or something. Um, but it's pretty much only in the Iron Islands. You're not going to find a mainlander worshipping this, and it's very, very strict. This one is primarily worshipped in Essos by the Faceless Men. This is the many-faced god, or him of many faces. So this is one god that takes on the appearance of many people, and essentially he is the god of death. So the Faceless Men believe that he works through them to provide people with a merciful death, because the whole origin story was that like he was a guy, and they were like slaves, and the slaves like prayed for salvation. They prayed for like freedom, so that the guy killed all the slaves, saying that, okay, I'm freeing you from this life. But then there was also another story where a slave prayed for the death of his master, and then he killed the master, and then the slave like served him. So then that kind of grew, and the Faceless Men now, they're like a guild of assassins. They have a hall. The many-faced god goes by many names. The Faceless Men believe that he is also the stranger in the Faith of the Seven. They believe that he's the black goat and the lion of the night in the region of Yiti. I believe I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm going to talk about Yiti later. The next one is the black goat, worshipped in the free city of Kohor. I think I'm pronouncing that right. This one, daily sacrifices. They lead like animals, oxen, into the temple and they kill it. But they also have a practice where, like, I think yearly they'll send criminals into the temple and just um the Faceless Men believe that the black goat is one of the many faces of their god, but I don't know, I think that people in Kohor might disagree. This is actually the symbol of the brave compatriots, or companions, I can't remember. But as you know, that is the sellsword company that cut off Jamie's hand. One religion that's pretty interesting, kind of weird, is Moonsinger. So this is the religion of the people of the Jogos Nahi. Man, I'm mispronouncing everything. Why did George have to make everything so hard to pronounce? But essentially, this is like, I don't know much about the religion, but I know about the structure. So they have like war parties, and then they'll have a moon singer or a priestess that like heals them, instructs them, and then they go about and do their thing. We don't know much about the religion. All we know is that it exists. Next up, we have the old gods of Valeria, and we know nothing about them. All we know is that they are worshipped by a multitude of different people. The Valerians, the Balerons, other ones. I read the wiki. Nothing mentioned about what kind of gods these were. All we know is that they're the gods for the city of Valeria. That's it. Then we have the Lion of the Night. This is one of the two main religions in the area of Yiti, which is off to the east. Not much is known about this god. We know that he's pretty harsh, pretty strict. The belief is that he fathered another god called, like, I'll talk about that later. The belief is that he fathered another god, and that they gave birth to like a dynasty of god emperors that led the religion. And then there's like a usurpation thing, and then the Lion of the Night came down and struck his wrath upon the people. But what we do know is that the Faceless Men believe that he is one of the many faces of their god, and that when people come to light candles in the temple of White and Black, it's primarily rich people that light his candle. Lastly is the Maiden Mid of Light. All I know about this is that she was impregnated by the Lion of the Night. They had a kid. God emperors. That's about it. Honestly, he wrote a completely distinct Eastern culture, and he did not add them in the books at all. Why am I having to learn about all these different gods, and he's not going to add them?